Hello and welcome once again, contestants. We're back from that commercial break and we're here for another round of Is That a Segment on Queer and Pleasant Strangers? We've got our first contestant here. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, my name's Agnes.
Well, Agnes, it's wonderful to have you, and we're going to find out just how well you know the podcast Queer and Pleasant Strangers. Are you ready?
As ready as I'll ever be.
Right, first question. Things we've played. Is it a segment on Queer and Pleasant Strangers?
Yes, I'm going to say yes.
Final answer.
That's my final answer, locked in.
Yes, it is. Congratulations. Woo. Second question. This is going to be a slightly tougher one. Things we've listened to.
Listen, now they do played, and I think they do watched. Listen to. I suppose they do talk about music and stuff. Yes, they do.
Yes, it is. Fantastic. Right, we've got one more question for you here. One more question. Board games we've played. Is board games we've played a segment on Queer and Pleasant Strangers?
Well, what do they? I mean, they do play games, and they do talk about the games they've played, and I suppose they do. There are board games sometimes. One of them really does like board games, so that would make sense if there was. Yes, they do a board games we've played section.
Oh, so close, Agnes. That is actually a part of the wider things we've played segment. But don't worry, we will be sending you home today with a fantabulous prize, regardless. A brand new episode of Queer and Pleasant Strangers.
Ooh, that's lovely. I'm very excited. Greetings, strangers, queer and pleasant. I'm not Laura Kate Dale.
And I'm not Jane Eris Magnet. And welcome to another episode of Queer and Pleasant Strangers. It's a podcast where we talk about the things we've played and listened to and watched in the week and do other segments as well, as are sometimes tested in a game show format. How are you doing?
I'm sleepy and very confused that it's Tuesday.
I know, we had a bank holiday in the UK the day before we recorded this, so it feels like it should be a Monday, but it's a Tuesday, and everything's not where it's supposed to be.
It spoiled my brain.
It shouldn't have confused me as much as it did, because I worked yesterday. I work bank holidays.
I mean, I did some work yesterday.
I worked a Monday, but I think the problem that's confused me is I was streaming until 2 a.m, and up until 2 a.m. usually means it's a Tuesday. So part of me is like, was yesterday the Tuesday, but today's the Monday? Have we swapped them around? What are we doing?
What are we doing?
We're doing Queer and Pleasant Strangers. What have you played this week?
What have we played? Oh gosh, we played so many things. We played board games. We played a lot of board games. We played some Forbidden Sky.
We did!
That's that.
That is a board game we've played before. You make a circuit to make the rocket go and don't get blown off the side of the platforms you've made in the sky, don't get hit by electricity.
Another one from Matt Leacock, who invented Pandemic.
Yeah, this was our first time playing with a new person we hadn't played it with before.
Yeah.
Nice and
First
easy.
time at 3. I think we played it at 4, and we played it at 2.
Nice and easy to teach, that one. It's not a complicated one to teach, which is nice.
Yep.
You can sort of pick it up as you go. It was real brutal, this game.
Yeah, the first half of that game was like, oh no, we're gonna die.
The first few turns, it's like, oh, I'm down to one piece of rope left, and I'm about to get like, I'm gonna lose, and then health's going down. We're getting hit by lightning left, right, and centre.
I thought we were gonna be like 10 minutes into that game, and it was gonna be over.
It would have really sucked for that to happen, because it's one of those games that doesn't continue going when one person dies. It's like, oh, one of you died, you're all dead.
Yeah.
Which is not ideal for a tutorial game. You really want to play it the whole way through so that, the new person can see the rocket happen.
Deep, deep, deep,
beep, beep, beep. I will never get over people's first reaction to, oh, we did it, and it's making noises and sounds.
Yay.
It's a weirdly exciting way to end a game.
Mm-hmm.
More games need interactive flashing audio elements when you win.
Right?
Yeah.
It's a fun game. I like the fact that you do actually build a circuit with it. It's very cool and fun, and it's fun to introduce more people to that.
Indeed.
Mm-hmm. What about you? Have you played anything else?
Well, we played some other board games. Well, you played some Pandemic.
I played some Pandemic.
I wasn't around for that game of Pandemic, but how did it go?
We won. It was only Is it 5 or 6?
I think 5 is. I
Yeah,
believe,
whatever the middle difficulty is, we played
Yeah.
that for Pandemic. Introduced the same person. Basically, this was baptize a friend who was like, I quite like Unstable Unicorns and Star Realms. Please teach me new games.
We've had a couple of visits with this friend recently, done safely with COVID tests and whatnot.
Yes.
But we've been trying to be like, okay, so you like Star Realms? How about Clank? Because that's another deck builder, but it's got a few more mechanics. And trying to teach like a wider variety of games. And
yeah, Clank was a nice, easy teach because it was a case of like, oh, you understand deck building as a concept.
Yeah,
let's widen that out slightly.
Yeah, and Pandemic's a nice one to teach because it's a cooperative one, so you can teach a lot of those mechanics and ways of thinking about board games while talking things over as a group.
Mm-hmm.
So long as, like, obviously whoever's doing the teach doesn't speak over the person who's learning. That's the important thing with a teach like that.
Yes, I tried to be good about that because I know that quarterbacking in that game is like a very big thing, so
it's very easy for the experienced person to go, yep, this is what you should be doing on your turn. You know, you gotta let people make mistakes as they learn.
I tend to not tell people what to do. I tend to just float ideas when I'm playing with other people, because obviously, like, you and me can be like, should we do this or that or the other?
Yeah.
And, like, with new people, I tend to be just like, well, we've got things here and we've got things happening here. I mean, there are options here, like, nudge you towards.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, is we understand the game mechanics well enough and we are confident enough with the mechanics that we can push back if needed, whereas someone new will sometimes just go with what they're told, rather than understanding why they're making that choice.
Yeah. I mean, for me, when I try to teach it, I always try to do these are the problems, and this is what could happen, and these are the things perhaps you can think about, like that it's been a while since we saw our last epidemic.
Yeah.
That a new epidemic has just been done. So there's only so many in the top before that comes up again. And that isn't a problem because it's literally just come out. It almost certainly won't be like straight away again.
Exactly. So yeah, I'm glad you had a successful game of Pandemic.
Yeah. Also, having taught them now, there's potentially a chance that we can maybe play one of the aspects of the On the Brink expansion. That is it On the Brink? Yeah, On the Brink that we've never played before. The Bioterrorist. I've never played the Bioterrorist mode, and I think that might be quite fun. But
I agree, that'd be fun.
I think that's minimum 3 player. So it'd be quite fun to try it now that that person knows it.
Yeah. We also played another board game with that person, first time. We played some Battlestar, the Battlestar Galactica board game.
Now, is this your first game of Battlestar?
I can't remember if it's my first game of Battlestar. I think I have watched you play it. I think I came home as you were playing it with some people.
Okay.
Like, I think I got home and was like, oh, I'll just watch from the sides. Because, like, I remembered some of the mechanics, but I do not remember playing it.
Okay.
I absolutely screwed up being the Cylon.
Yes.
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 I didn't pay attention to things like, what abilities do the people at the table have? I did not realise you had the ability to, just as an action, go, oh, I'm just going to check whether that's true or whether you've lied or not.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh.
Yep.
Well.
It wasn't just that. It was, I don't think it helped that you sort of panicked and went, you're the Cylon! It's like, are they? And then there's both of you staring at each other across the table like, I'm like, well, one of you's a fucking Cylon.
Yeah. So,
and I'm playing Gaius Baltar, so I'll just check the other one.
So here's the thing. First of all, for anyone who's never played this, it's a hidden role game. You will, at some point in the game, have someone be a villain that's trying to, work against all the other players. Mm-hmm. They may not appear until the second half of the game, so it's entirely conceivable at first that there is no one with a hidden role. That is a thing I had forgotten was the case. I forgot that could be the case. Second of all, every player has different, unique, character-specific abilities that are selected when you select your characters at the start, and I forgot that was a thing as well, and I was like, I've not seen anything that would let you automatically check whether I'm the secret villain, so it's fine. I'll just accuse the other person.
Yep.
Yeah, if I played this again, it's one of those. As soon as I said it, I was like, I can't back down from what I've just done. But it took me a fraction of a second to realize how foolish a move I had made.
Oh no!
But like, here's the thing, I'm good at playing hidden role games.
Yes, you are.
I'm good at playing hidden role games, and apparently, I just fundamentally hadn't internalized the rules of this one.
I'm afraid so.
In a way that would, I was like, oh yeah, I'll play along. Oh fuck. Still fun though.
Yep.
Once my hidden role was revealed, I was very good at being the evil person.
Generally, the Cylons win. I mean, that's just how that game works. It's just a very hard game, which is why generally, like when I play Cylon, or if I get to be Cylon, I'm like, yep, I'm just gonna DM you now.
Yeah.
Like, it's gonna be hard anyway, no matter what happens. I'm not necessarily gonna make it unbearable.
Yeah.
I'm gonna, keep the pressure on.
Well, I mean,
sometimes I might even help you for a laugh.
I mean, in my defense, that's sort of how I was playing. There were things I could have done that probably would have killed you faster, and I was like, no, I'm gonna whittle down your resources. I got you down to the point where every resource was on one left.
Yep.
It's like, oh, you're real low. What you gonna do? Like,
and we still had 2 jumps to do at that point.
I was being evenly spread with my chaos, which I found quite enjoyable.
Yeah, I'm glad you managed to have fun on that side of the table for so long. Because very often, as a Cylon, it can get a bit like, oh, this is quite monotonous.
Oh no, I was having a great time.
I am glad you enjoyed it from that point of view. But yeah.
It was nice to be like, I understand now what the Cylon mechanics are, because I've done it.
We have other local people, and that game plays up to 6, so maybe we will try and get a full table of 6 together.
I would like that a lot.
Because, I'll be honest, I have been seriously considering just selling my copy of Battlestar, because can't get the expansions anymore, it's out of print, they're probably never going to get the license again. And the base game is a bit flawed. There's things that I think that the expansions really deal with well. But I don't think that was necessarily the case.
Well,
and
but before you do, I'd kind of like to get a couple more games out of it if possible. Because I had fun with that, even if I absolutely failed at doing it right.
And I've never played I don't think I've ever played a 6-person game.
Well,
which I'm pretty sure means there's 2 Cylons.
I would assume so.
So, yeah.
I think we can put a 6-person game together pretty easy.
I reckon so. Yeah. We also played some Terraforming Mars.
Yes,
I played 2 games of Terraforming Mars.
Yeah, and we taught him so many games.
He did.
And he picked them up all real well. And
well enough that you wanted to play a second game of Terraforming Mars when you were working.
So we've talked about this one before. It's a hex grid. You're trying to basically increase oxygen, water, and temperature.
Make it warm, wet, and green.
Yeah, but you're trying to do so as a corporation so that you profit off of the way it's been done. You're trying to terraform it for your own financial benefit.
I guess so.
I mean, you're not working together. This isn't cooperative terraforming.
No.
Yeah, how did that go? Are you playing again together?
Obviously we setup was a lot quicker. General turn time was a lot quicker. The start of that game was a lot quicker.
Yeah.
It was mainly just a lot quicker. I think because our first game was somewhere in the region of 4.5 hours.
Oh gosh.
That didn't help that, he was going off for fag breaks and stuff, and I think we stopped for snacks at one point.
Yeah, but also, we haven't played in a while and we needed to get ourselves back into the rhythm of what we should be doing.
Yeah, we spent half an hour watching, was it Watch It Played, I think?
I think so, yeah.
Doing a how-to video for that. We got back into it, but the second game was just yep, we know everything we need to know, let's fucking go! And we did, and it was good fun.
We played some more board games. We played so many board games.
We finally justified the board games.
Yay! I mean, we justify the board games.
I know.
We play
But
a
it felt
lot
like
of
we
board
really
games.
justified the board games this week.
We played some Flatline,
We did.
which we've played before. This is that game about dice rolling and trying to heal a bunch of patients and
Patience.
use some of the dice to, stop chaos things from going badly and...
Stop your emergencies.
Yeah, and sometimes you'll have nice abilities to help you. You can do re-rolls at the cost of using one of your dice up, and I really like Flatline.
Yeah, it's fun. A little bit manic. It's fun in higher player counts.
Having larger player counts, obviously you've got more available resources on the table, but you've got more people shouting over each other, which, I think that balances out pretty well.
Yeah, there were a couple of games where one person ended up with like 4 unused dice.
Yes, because that's a lot of information to squeeze into 60 seconds with
especially
3
when you're
people.
sort of helping to identify and point for other things, because everyone's going, who's got blue? Who's got this? Who's got that? I need this here.
Yeah, can mentally jam you a little bit.
It can mentally jam you a little bit, overall we still won.
That's the fun of the game, though, and we won just as we were getting to the final possible turn.
It was nicely balanced.
Again, I really appreciate a good board game that reliably, you balanced the hell out of this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, and it's the first time we've played in the play count of 3, so it was a slightly different board for pulling emergencies. But yeah, it was good and good fun. And more board games.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about the board game we played while playing board games?
We should. We played Don't Get Got, Shut Up and Sit Down edition.
Yeah.
So Don't Get Got is a hidden task completion game.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple. Everyone is dealt, 6 hidden tasks that are unique to you, and while you're doing other things, you just try and get these various tasks to happen, and if someone catches you trying to do them, you have to go, yep, you caught me, and you can't try and get them to do that task again, you failed it. So you've got to be as subtle as you can, and try and get people to do certain things without them noticing that you're trying to get them to do them. Yep. It was a fun thing to have going in the background.
It was.
Can you remember any of the tasks you successfully got done?
Yeah, the one was put this card in a bag of snacks and get somebody else to touch it.
You were offering me that popcorn, all afternoon, just again and again and again, and I was
eventually we will get to the bottom of this bag of popcorn and she will be forced to touch it.
There were several moments where you seemed almost disappointed that I hadn't taken more popcorn, and I was
happily biding my time.
Yeah, no, you did bide your time.
It was also the fact that, I didn't want to hog all the popcorn.
Yeah. There was one where I had to get you to say your full name, including middle names, out loud in one go.
Yes.
Which is more difficult than you would think without drawing attention to yourself.
Especially when you've got as many middle names as I do.
Exactly. So I was trying to get you comfortable with saying your name out loud, and I got you to confirm to say your middle names and surname in order, but not your first name, because I was like, I always get the order of your middle names mixed up. What's the order? And you started from halfway through, and I was like, that's not going to do it.
You know my first name, I don't need to mention that one.
Exactly. And eventually, I got you to count the syllables in your name, and you were saying your name out loud as you counted the syllables.
Yep.
It's I'd spent so long talking about names and hadn't tripped you up, I think you'd gone this is a safe topic,
and because I think it started about something else very specific.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was.
It started as something to do with the project we're working on together, was how I first brought up name stuff.
About crediting, yeah.
Yeah, and then I sort of just kept weaseling around names. I asked someone else in the room a name question and it didn't do anything. I was like, see, it's safe.
It's safe. Yes, we had the one about humming from our guest.
I was sure you were trying to get me to hum, which is why I didn't hum.
I hum sometimes.
Yeah.
Apparently, I started humming and they were like, fucking yes! And they started humming. And then I apparently changed what I was humming to what they were humming without
Yeah.
really registering it. And they were like, fuck you, got you.
The two of you were very clearly humming back and forth, humming recognizable tunes, and I was like, one of you's trying to fucking do something here.
I hadn't registered it at all.
What was the other one I had? I had to get someone to show me, not tell me the time, but to show me the time.
Yes.
Which, again, kind of tricky, because it's very easy to say, oh, do you know what the time is? It's very tricky to go, hey, can you show me the time? So I ended up waiting for an opportunity for someone to show me their phone with the screen unlocked.
Okay.
I was like, yeah, there it is, there's the time. You've shown me the time. Ha ha ha.
You got me.
It was a fun thing to have going in the background.
Yeah, and we have talked about the possibility of just having a game just running day to day.
I really like the idea of just having a game of this going in the background. No time pressure.
How long will we go? How many weeks will it last?
Well, I mean, if we leave it enough weeks, we'll forget that we're playing, and it'll make it a lot easier to get those objectives done.
Yeah.
It seems like a fun thing to just constantly just be there on the periphery.
Mm. Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
And there was a Harry Potter question in there, which I will probably be burning for future.
Yes.
We took it out because there's just no way anyone is going to discuss that in this house.
And there is a mechanic by which, if there's a prompt where you're like, it is going to be impossible for me to get this one to happen, you can go, hey everyone, I have this objective, I believe it is impossible, I'm getting a new one. Which I think is fair for something like that.
There is 3 packs of questions. We are less than halfway through our first pack of challenges. We're less than halfway through our first pack of challenges. That was fun. I enjoyed it. Yeah.
There's one other board game that you've played.
Oh yes, I played Uranus.
Yeah, tell me about.
You want to hear about my anus?
Tell me about my anus.
You want to hear about my anus? Well, I'll tell you. It's a Okay, so
it's always fun when you don't know how to fundamentally explain what you've experienced.
It's somewhat abstract. So the point of the game is that you are living on the moons of Uranus, and that there are a number of problems happening, and basically you've all decided the best thing to do is just go to Uranus. It'll be safer there.
Okay.
At certain points during the game, asteroids are going to hit you from the left and from the right.
Mm-hmm.
You have a board with your own moon on it. It will start with, I think, 4 mines on it.
Yeah.
And then you are given a card with, 4 additional mines. Like, hexagonal coordinates on your moon, because they're all hexes.
Yeah.
Hexagonal coordinates to where you will build additional mines. And then you get 2 free mines.
Okay.
As well as your you've got another board which is just your faction or your species.
Yeah.
And all of them have slightly different skills. Like, some of them have already discovered the telescope, which means they can see where the asteroids are going to hit.
Okay.
But then what they've got to do is launch resources to Uranus to build habitations, and those habitations will be sort of open then for people to actually fly to Uranus and live in them. The game ends when everybody has got to Uranus, and it has to be everybody because it's a cooperative game.
Okay.
So in multiplayer mode, and it does have a single player mode, in multiplayer modes you will have some species that they're best at fortifying other species' mines. So the asteroids won't necessarily hit their mines. They've been fortified, so they're protected from it.
Yeah.
You've then got to build launch pads, but the other thing is the mines have to be connected to do big things with them. Initially, they're all single spots, and they'll generate 1 resource, and you can only use the resource on a particular spot to use for any given project.
So this is sort of like Brass Birmingham, in that you need to have a connection to the places that have the resources if you want to use multiple locations' resources.
Sort of.
That sort of a thing.
Yeah, so if you start connecting mines together, when you do the production phase, you'll put all the cubes out on the squares of their colour, or the hexes of their colour, and then you will follow the lines along and say, this one particular mine is where everybody else in that tunnel set will send their resources, and you can spend that stack now on a particular project. So say you've got like 3 green and a red, and 3 greens will help you to work on your telescope technology.
Yeah.
You can cross off telescope technology, but you won't get that last cube to spend on something else.
Okay, yeah.
But then there's other things where it's like spend 4 different cubes, and that will do something like that might be how you build your launch pads, or how you're going to fire your space gun at the asteroids. And basically, as the asteroids hit, they will black out parts of your planet. You can't go there anymore. That's no more of that for you. And also, every moon rather has a volcano on it.
Yeah.
If an asteroid hits the volcano, every single turn from then on, it will start to spread the blackout zone out from the volcano, which means that very quickly you're going to be absolutely covered in lava, completely unable to use anything, and no one's going to really be able to help you because you're doomed. You've got lots of things to do, like building more mines. Every time you build a mine, that's it. You have to reset your mine counter. So do you build one now, or do you wait until you've got like the full set of 2 mines or 3 mines, depending on which faction you are? Do you build 2 or 3 or one or 2 tunnels, or do you wait an additional round and maybe have 4 or 8 or 14? And it just goes on and on and on. And I fucked up my first 2 games. So the first one I was like, I don't know which 2 extra mines I should pick. I don't know what benefits there are. And I started my first game, and I got about 2 games in, or 2 rounds in, and was like, oh, I see, I fucked up this completely. This was a very bad decision. And then my next game, I got all the way to the last round and was like, I am 1 round short of being able to get off this goddamn moon. But yeah, it's a real puzzle, and I would like to play it multiplayer. I have played the single player, and it's alright.
I am up for learning that at some point when we have some time.
I imagine you will have a much easier time than I did, because by virtue of just having a proper teacher, because the videos available for this are not great.
Yeah.
There's like a QR code in the manual for, hey, do you want a video of how to do this? Cool, I'll look at that. And I think it's the creator doing the video. They are not the best at giving these instructions. The video isn't super well cut together, and the fact that they describe the game as being for 3 to 6 players, when the box says 2 to 6, or 1 to 6 rather, was somewhat concerning.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. I was like, when did you make this instruction? Was this your proof of concept video?
Quite possibly.
Yeah, that's Uranus. It's pretty good fun, and I will give more thoughts when I've had a proper play with it.
Yeah.
What about you?
I have been playing some video games.
Ooh.
I finished playing through Psychonauts 2.
Ooh.
I think I started playing through Psychonauts 2. I don't think I started when last week's episode recorded.
I don't think you had.
Psychonauts 2. Really fun 3D platformer. So, for anyone who's not played any of the Psychonauts games before, basically you play a little kid who's run away from the circus to go join Psychic Summer Camp, and ends up helping save the day in the first game, and he wants to go join the Psychic Spies, the Psychonauts. The whole thing that they do is they jump into people's brains and ideally, help them work out whatever trauma's going on in there. Psychonauts 2 takes place basically minutes after the end of the first Psychonauts. Hey, there's some weird shenanigans going on, jump into people's brains and use cool psychic powers to, fix problems. Mechanically, absolutely love it. It is incredibly well polished. It feels very good to play. It's the art style's so eye-catching. It looks great. This game's been in development for like 6 years as a crowdfunding project.
Mhm.
Usually I get worried when a crowdfunded game's been in development that long and just sort of keeps being pushed back. None of those concerns apply here. This game seems to have aged very well.
This isn't the Charlie the Unicorn finale.
Exactly. It doesn't feel like something that should have released 6 years ago. It's like, no, this feels modern and contemporary and really spot on. The humor's really good. It captures a lot of what made the first game interesting without falling into some of the tropes and some of the more aged aspects of the original.
I don't really remember the aged aspects of the original. I just remember getting very, very stuck on the, is it the running of the bulls scene? The black and white?
Yes.
It's a beautiful art style, but I got really stuck in that level.
Yeah, so here's what I'll say about the first one. The first Psychonauts does a lot of the same stuff that Psychonauts 2 does in terms of go into people's heads, help them with whatever trauma they're trying to process so that you can help sort them out. It wasn't always as respectful as it could be of mental health, and there's a couple of times where it sort of would make a punchline out of someone's mental health, and like not anything like drastic and major that I would go, nope, terrible game, but enough that I'm like, it is a product of its time and it's not aged amazingly in that regard.
I did quite like the Psychonauts 2 opening disclaimer.
Yes, I will get to that. Well, I guess we'll touch on it now. There's a, hey, if you struggle with these mental health things, these pop up in the game. But, as the game points out at the start, this is a game about healing and recovery from trauma, and you may, you know, there's going to be some levels about things like PTSD or other difficult topics like depression.
And teeth.
And teeth. Fuck the first 45 minutes of that are very teeth heavy. But it's always like, hey, look, we're going to focus on these themes, but it's always going to be with the aim of things being okay in the end.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that framing of the content warning.
Yeah.
But yeah, more so than the first Psychonauts, Psychonauts 2 always treats mental health incredibly respectfully, and it always, you know, even at its most intense, it is always about people are the product of 1,000 different things that can be outside of their control and that can spiral and can have all sorts of root causes. What is important is we have understanding and we look after people and help them with the root causes of things so that they can feel better themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And that it's not about forcefully fixing someone and making them better. It's about helping fix the thing that led to them being how they are and letting them heal on their own. And it is a funny comedic game that takes mental health really seriously and respectfully, and that's really nice to see.
Yeah.
The characters are all really fun. I like the upgrade system. There's a lot of I like that they give you all of the first game's abilities within the first like maybe 30-40 minutes. And then get onto the cool new shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's one of my favourite things I've played this year. Like, it is a real front runner for favourite game I've played this year.
I started it on stream last week, and I was very much enjoying the gameplay, but I was not following the plot.
Yes, it maybe was not a game to be playing while having conversations.
No, probably one to actually sit and focus on.
Yeah,
I feel like I lost something from that.
I understand that entirely. I would really recommend just start from the beginning and play it again.
I may
I think you'd really dig it.
Mm-hmm.
I can't recommend it highly enough. It's wonderful. I have basically no complaints about it, other than I had one glitch where a thing I was meant to jump off didn't work. It's fine. I found a way around it. I had one glitch. That's the closest I have to a complaint. So yeah, what about you? Have you played anything else this week?
I've been playing a little game called Battle of Polytopia.
Tell me about Battle of Polytopia.
It's what if you wanted like an hour of Civ and not a minute more.
Aha!
So you start as a tribe. You pick a tribe. They will, depending on which tribe you picked, they will have a skill from the skill tree that they have by default already learned. So you might have the ones who are natural hunters, and they come with hunting. ones that are known for horses, so they ride horses.
Yeah.
And there's archers as well. I think if you play the sort of Robin Hood faction, you get archery to start with. And then you just go around the world and try and destroy all the other civilizations, or score the highest amount you can in 30 turns. And it's very, very quick and very cut down, and it lacks a lot of the nuance that you might otherwise get from something like a Civ, where like there's diplomatic victories and stuff like this.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's if you want a quick, brief few minutes of sort of civiness, you could do worse, I guess. It's not very expensive. I think it's like a tenner on Steam. And the only other thing I played is I played a game of 5D chess with Multiverse.
Oh, that was quite a thing to watch.
Oh yeah, because you watched.
Yeah.
Yes.
You won a game of chess by travelling back in time to a position that would have been a winning move a couple of turns ago.
No.
Oh no, it was.
I moved a knight into a position where I could take the king from about 3 turns ago.
Yes. Well, I think it was 2 turns ago because it was one position above where you were 2 turns ago, so you could go 2 turns back in, two across in time and 1 up in space, rather than 2 across.
2 in space, 1 in time. Yeah.
Yeah. 2 in space, 1 in time. No, 2 in time, 1 in space.
No, it was 2 in space because I moved 2 up the board.
And
the other one was through time.
Yeah. This is baffling. I fucking love it. I was looking at one point and there was a chessboard where like the other side had 2 kings on the board.
Yep.
Because one of the kings had just hopped out of its timeline and was like, "No, fuck this.
Things are getting hairy. I'm off. Bye."
There were game boards where there was no king.
Yes.
Because the king
There
just
was
was
game board. There was at one point during that game there was a game board where there were 3 queens.
Yeah, you can't kill the queen if the queen's not there.
You can't kill the queen if the queen's not there, but also if there are 3 queens on a board, you're usually in trouble.
Yeah.
It's kind of wild. I don't claim to fully have my head around the concept of where you can necessarily be going in all 4 dimensions.
I feel like that's the point. There is a huge amount of additional things to hold in your head.
There is, but it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I very much enjoy playing that.
Nice.
What about you?
The only other thing I have played this week is I've started playing No More Heroes 3.
Oh, the wanking game.
The lightsaber wanking game. Yeah, so the No More Heroes series of games, they're about you playing as an assassin with a lightsaber who, in the first game, goes up the American assassin ranks and then the worldwide assassin ranks, and now he's in the international assassin ranks against a bunch of aliens who've come to take over Earth. The series has always been a bit technically limited, and that remains true here. The game runs at a stable 60 frames a second, but the resolution, it's a bit rough in places. There are some very jagged character models, but the game very much makes up for that with over-the-top style and presentation, and just all of the presentation around its technical level of visuals carries it. It is a series that mashes up a lot of different genres without ever feeling like it's forcing them in just to be there, like they're all there out of a real reverence. I really didn't like No More Heroes Travis Strikes Again, which was the last game on the Switch, which rather than being... These are all 3D boss battle, boss rush 3D action games. That was a top-down isometric game, and it wasn't great. Its whole concept was go to a bunch of different video game worlds, except every one of them, like, oh, you're in a detective game now, still plays like a fucking top-down isometric hack and slash. It really didn't capitalize on its concept. This has been much better. It is a return to form. It is all the things I love about No More Heroes games. I've often said about the first No More Heroes, it is my favourite ever, 7 out of 10. Like, it's a technically bad game. I can't easily recommend it, but it's one of my all-time favourite games, and I will put it above most other things I've played. And I feel very similarly so far about No More Heroes 3. It has technical shortcomings, left, right, and centre, but, like, when I finish a boss fight and then it goes into an anime set of closing themes with a bunch of really high-quality art, and then you get, like, next time on No More Heroes, and it's introducing all the villains, and it's introducing them as little figurines in, action figure boxes, and... so everything about this game is just very stylish, and I love it. The villain's very good as well. They're Thanos-esque leader of the space villains is introduced early on, is cocky, hilarious, and very, very well presented as a threat very early on. And I have been enjoying his presence in the story immensely. I really like No More Heroes 3. I don't want to stop playing it. I keep being like, I could just play it a little bit more, and then like 2 hours have gone. And I'm like, oh no, where did it go? It's a very fun game. I need to play through the whole thing and see how it continues, but so far, it's really fun to play, and I constantly just want to be playing more of it.
Yay.
That's everything I've played this week, I think.
Well then.
Time for this. Right, all hands staff meeting, everyone.
Hi.
So we've had wonderful success recently with our the shark, the big shark, cuddly shark thing we have.
Everyone loves the shark.
Yeah, everyone loves the shark. It's big, it's cuddly, it's a shark. Problem is, everyone's bought sharks, and now they're like, oh yes, I would like another big cuddly friend, and we don't have any other big cuddly vicious cuddly friends for them. So we need to quickly act upon this. What's the next shark? What's the next thing that we can have big and probably dangerous in the real world, but like we give it a silly name, we change a letter, and now it's fun.
Well, we got Jungaskoge.
What's that?
It's the big bear.
Oh, you got a bear.
We got a big bear.
What? How do we
do that one?
How do we turn, like, you know how shark and shark? What do we do with bear?
Boar.
No, that's boar. That's a pig with tusks.
What if you had a boar?
Yeah, but then what do we do with the boar? Boor.
Boar.
Boor.
Boar. We put an umlaut over the O.
That's your answer for everything. Put an umlaut over the O.
It's boar.
See, I was thinking we go for something like a cheetah. We could be like a cheetoo, choda. Okay, maybe not that one. So I don't think you've come up with any good ideas.
Well, man is the greatest beast. What about just a large, fluffy man?
So instead of man, it's like mon.
The Bezos. Try the Bezos.
I mean, that is a very dangerous creature.
Yeah.
Though I don't know if anyone's gonna want to cuddle that.
Cuddle the Bezos before it burns your house down.
Just because it sounds good in that voice doesn't mean we're gonna make people cuddle it.
What about the Erlon?
Fine.
It'll drop space waste on your beach. Cuddle the Erlon. It's very dangerous.
I mean, if we can make sharks cute, I guess.
Sharks, try the Erlon. It's got an emerald mine.
It comes with its own emerald mine.
You have to buy that separately. It's a flat pack. How will my tiny Erlon survive without an emerald mine?
My tiny Erlon.
My tiny Erlon. Now available from IKEA.
All vaccinated.
Mm-hmm.
Testing regularly.
Uh-huh.
Going to start seeing similarly responsible friends.
Yeah.
Just one more thing.
Mm-hmm.
Are you usually quite anxious and a little paranoid?
Uh-huh. I thought you wouldn't ask.
Then you need our new pamphlet. So you went outside and now you're convinced you're going to die.
I've been as safe as I could, but I'm a bit worried just in case. What if I wasn't safe enough?
It's got all the help you need to recover after having seen a friend for the first time in nearly 2 years.
I'm sure it's fine. I was careful, they were careful. I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure it's fine.
So you went outside and now you're convinced you're going to die. Available now from your nearest place.
So,
What have you put in your eye meats?
Basically nothing this week.
I mean, we watched all 3 episodes of What If again.
I mean, we rewatched the 3 episodes of What If. One of them was a new episode that we saw for the first time since we last recorded this.
Yeah.
I don't know how to describe this one without being too spoilery. This is the What If the Avengers, when they were being assembled in Avengers Assemble.
What if that didn't go well?
Yeah, maybe assembling them didn't go well, and that was maybe a problem.
It also follows that whole theory that the assembly of the Avengers was in a week.
Yes.
Because obviously we've previously sort of seen it as a series of films, including Edward Norton's Hulk. So it was nice to sort of be like, and here is...
Yeah. It's like, hey, look, these events literally happened days apart, but what if every one of them in some way was fucked up, and then we got to the end of this week and things were very different?
Very different.
This felt the least focused up front of the what ifs to me, in that, like, it felt like it was meandering for a while before it sort of got to the point of what it was trying to be an episode about. Perhaps, I think, more than the other... The other two, I can very clearly go, oh, this is what if Peggy was Captain America instead.
Okay.
What if, T'Challa was Star-Lord? This one was a lot more, something is happening, and that's going to lead to something, and you'll sort of get a lot of the way through the episode before you know what we're doing.
Okay, I mean, the what if was a mystery, and that was kind of the point, but you did call it fairly early on.
I did, but, like, even having called it, I don't know, there was something that felt a little less focused about this one to me.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed it still. It's not my favourite of the 3 we've seen so far.
No.
Your thoughts?
I enjoyed it. I can't really say much more than that, because this is one that's very possible to spoil.
Yeah,
But I enjoyed it.
the first 2 really weren't spoilerable in
Not
in
really,
the
no.
same way, but yeah, I continue to enjoy What If.
Well, what if?
Yeah,
Did you watch anything else?
that's basically all I've watched this week.
So I've been watching a bunch of videos on the FD Signifier channel on YouTube.
Ooh, tell me
Do you know
about
this person?
No, tell me about this channel and these videos.
So he's a black guy who does videos about media analysis and things like that. Popular videos include Black Movie Breakdown Hamilton, a play about rapping slave masters.
Mm-hmm.
White allies need to learn to knock.
Mm-hmm.
It's largely about like, hey, you can be an ally and you can shout for the thing, and this could have been very easily pointed at Peter Thatcher recently. But if you're coming to us into a space and you're gonna take up any of that space, knock first.
Yeah.
Ask permission to do the thing. Don't just step up and take a voice. Edgelord movies and the men who love them. Black Media Breakdown number 7. Talking about films like Falling Down and The Joker.
Yeah.
Like, why are they taking the wrong things from these movies? And why are, especially in Falling Down, like, there are so many opportunities for the guy in that to actually do something, some genuine good, and he still ends up largely being helped out by a white supremacist at some point during that film. A literal Nazi. He seemed very taken aback when he first encounters that Nazi, didn't shoot him. Bag full of guns. Of all the people that he did take credit with, to take issue with, that wasn't one of them. Interesting. Bo Burnham's Inside and White Liberal Performative Art, a video essay, which is quite interesting, about just like someone like Bo, who has a history for being a bit problematic.
Yeah.
But also clearly having realised, like he's talked about in Inside, like, okay, I've done some problems, I've done some problematic shit, I'm trying to be different, but also sometimes I'm not the right person to be saying these things.
Yeah.
And that was an interesting breakdown on that as well. He is much more eloquent and smart and good at talking about these things than I am. But yeah, I very much enjoyed those videos that I watched so far, and there's a bunch on that channel. Go give them a look. Got any others?
No, that's about it for me.
I watched a couple of videos on a channel by somebody, or the channel name is Sunpi, S-U-N-P-I. Soldier Boy sent me his new console, and I wish he didn't.
Yes.
Have you seen these videos?
Yeah. This is not the first time Soldier Boy has tried to do one of these, and it continues to be a thing.
So, Soldier Boy or his PR firm sent out his console to a YouTuber who is she does various breakdowns on tech stuff. And it seems the impression given was, it's a girl who does reviews. They'll be like, I got the Soldier Boy thing, and no.
Yeah.
She tells the truth about it.
Yeah.
She says it's not that great. It's basically a hyped up Android phone.
Yeah, well, I mean,
with proper controls on it.
So, you said Soldier Boy's console. For anyone who doesn't know the context on this is the thing that Soldier Boy has tried to do multiple times in the past. What he will do is he will do drop shipping through AliExpress, which is where he will say, I've got a product for sale, it's my new games console. It's not, it's a thing that already exists from Chinese wholesalers, and people will order it through his website. The order will get emailed to the Chinese wholesaler, who will send the thing that already exists from China.
They may brand it.
They may brand it. If you're lucky, it might get branded. But the first, at least 3 or 4 times that Soldier Boy did this, there was no Soldier Boy branding on it than when they showed up. Yeah. If they showed up at all.
Yeah, this one's called the TRVR.
Yes. So usually these are either Android devices you plug into your telly with an HDMI, or basically Android phones with controllers built around them that will play Android games and or emulators.
Yes, and one of the big points she made about this was the fact that it doesn't have any of its own games.
Yeah.
It doesn't help that also the controls generally don't work for things like entering your Wi-Fi password.
Yeah.
Or logging into a Google account so that you can, use all the Google apps that come pre-installed on most Google-based Android-type devices. So anyway, she fairly assessed it.
Yeah.
And Soldier Boy went little bit rude about that whole thing.
Yeah.
I think it was either Insta or Twitter. He basically posted, I didn't send you nothing.
Yeah.
So she made a follow-up video to that, here is the evidence from these people and the fact that I wasn't even taking money for this. And, I could have done.
Yeah. It doesn't surprise me that Soldier Boy would lie about that to get himself out of trouble. He's told some real fucking corkers of lies trying to sell games, his games consoles.
I wouldn't touch any of his consoles.
Are you aware that at one point he claimed that he was buying Atari, the company, and that Atari were going to be making exclusive games for his Soldier Boy console?
I mean,
that he was going to be the sole owner of Atari.
Because wasn't that partly to do with the fact that there are bits of Atari that have recently come up for buying? They did go on the market?
They did, but this was predating that.
Okay.
He claimed he had bought Atari and that he owned Atari. He claimed at one point that both Nintendo and Sony were in a bidding war to buy his console, and his console was going to be one of their next consoles. It's either going to be the next PlayStation or the next Switch is going to be the Soldier Boy console.
Mm-hmm.
What other fucking wild claims did he make? He claimed at one point that he had bought the rights to Fortnite. That he owned Fortnite and Fortnite was going to be an exclusive on his console.
And how did Epic take
Epic
that?
were no.
Oh. He is problematic.
Yeah. He's been trying this a while.
He has. And I watched the an hour and 40 playthrough on the Outside Xbox channel. They did a playthrough of Encarta Mind Maze from Encarta 95.
Ooh.
Do you know this at all?
No, tell me about this.
Slightly before your time. So Encarta Mind Maze, or Encarta Encyclopedia, was a CD-ROM based encyclopedia Available for Windows 95. I had it. It was alright.
Yeah.
I used it to cheat on some of my GCSEs. Yeah, and it is, just like a visual encyclopedia, like an Encyclopedia Britannica or fucking Wikipedia, but with more colour. And in it was like this whole, hey, wander around this maze and meet all these historical characters, and they'll have riddles for you, and if you can get through like a door into the next room, you'll have to answer a riddle. And it will give you a question. It will give you 4 possible answers, and next to each of the answers is a little page link that will take you into the encyclopedia itself, so you can read about the answer without actually receiving the answer. Obviously, if it is the right thing, it'll be like, and famous for the thing that is in the question.
Yeah.
It's not something anyone really did, to actually go through the whole thing. Firstly, because the map is invisible. And I think you have to re-answer a question every time you go back through a door. So it was really stressful too. But there they were, just like, snapshot on phone of the map. Okay, you need to go up, right, up, up, left, down, and then left again, and you'll go through the door. Cool. And it was just an hour and 40 minutes of, we're playing on a very old P133, and hopefully nothing will die while we're trying to run this. And they managed to get all the way through, so I've now seen the end of Encarta Mind Maze.
Yeah.
Just a weird little trip down memory lane there.
The only other thing I've remembered, is I've been watching some videos of people playing a browser-based game called Gartic Phone.
Oh yes, I've been watching some of this.
Yeah, I've been watching some Rubber Ross videos on this, some Drawfee videos on it.
Yay.
It is a game where you do drawing back and forth, and usually there is some element of miscommunication as a message gets turned into text, into an image, into text, into an image. So, for example, someone writes a sentence, then someone draws the thing described in that sentence, then someone else describes what's in the picture, and then someone just draws that second sentence, and watching it slowly devolve away from what it originally was by little misunderstandings back and forth between mediums. It has been fun to watch people who are good at art do that, and it's been a nice sort of turn brain off. It doesn't matter if I fall asleep watching this. Nice, easy viewing. I think that's everything I've watched this week.
Well,
Time for this.
Laura, we got a new sponsor.
Who's our new sponsor?
Well, do you find yourself nervous of making friends?
I mean, sometimes, yeah.
You don't know their core beliefs?
I mean, I always worry, like, oh, you seem like a nice person, but maybe you secretly believe that the Tories are a fair and just government or something.
Do you want a quick and easy way to, like, shoo away MPs or religious figures or just Tories from your door?
I mean, yeah, but I really don't have the mental effort to engage with them sometimes.
But you want to quickly gauge if a date is going to work out.
I mean, that would be really good, make sure I'm, like, safe and that the date's going to be okay.
Well, buy our handsheets with boxes for common political beliefs, pre-fill them out, and then hand them out as needed.
Oh, goodness! Oh, hey, there's a Jehovah's Witness at the door. Here, this says I'm gay and trans. You probably should just go away, I guess.
Do you think that'll work? Do you think that'll work?
I mean, I would hope so.
Here are all the things. Here are the reasons bits of my family disown me.
Hey, person I'm going on a date with. This says that I'm gay and I'm left wing. Hopefully, this is not the problem for you.
I mean, if you're going on a date, I imagine they'd probably know you were gay, right?
I mean, probably, but maybe, I don't know. The sheet will help.
The sheet will help, I guess. So that's the political checklist.lol.net, and enter the code Q&PS 180.
180.
180.
180.
So that's political checklist.lol.net. Enter the code Q&PS 180 and get 180% off your first purchase of pamphlet, checklist, cheat, doohickey things.
Political list.
Political list. Hand it out, distribute it. It's political list. Give it to people when you're in the pub. Hopefully they will agree with you, or they'll just fuck off. Political list.
inside the boardroom of Electronic Actor Softworks.
Hi.
Hi.
How you doing? You look a bit gassy there.
You know, it's, when you spend all day shouting at interns, there's a lot of having to take deep breaths to be able to do the big shouting, and that sort of gets a lot of gas in you.
Yeah, they just say we're full of hot air, I guess.
That's what I hear, and I assume it's just to do with the breathing in, and it's not a phrase I should look up or anything.
No, that's probably fine.
No. So, I've got some ideas.
Right.
I've got some ideas. I've been working on stuff we can do to drive up engagement. We love engagement.
Love engagements.
Number go up, you know.
Number go up. I love it when a number go up.
Exactly. So, one of the biggest problems we have with our community right now is everyone's too nice.
In our community.
Yeah. I don't know what's happened, but we were forced into doing some moderation because we had a couple of really bad people on there, and we've accidentally ended up with a community that, like, is very gracious losers and, doesn't really mind whether they win or lose.
Well, that doesn't sound like the kind of idiots who spend money.
Exactly, this is the problem, because, like, we're trying to sell them, XP boosters that'll help them level up in the battle pass faster, so they can get the better armor and the better gun, so that they can do better than their opponents,
Yeah,
So,
I mean, we need to, just drive them into just absolute anger and rage so they go in the right direction.
Exactly, and even if they're not buying stuff, we need them to be like, I need to fight you one more time and keep playing, because, staying in the ecosystem is good. So,
Exactly.
here's my plan.
Right.
We get the usernames of people who've, had battles against each other in the game.
Yeah.
And all we do is we take someone who won a match and someone who lost a match, and we pair them up, and we send a message to both of them that looks like it came from the other person.
Right.
And it just says, you suck at this game. Get good, scrub. You're a fucking loser.
Right.
And I'm hoping this is enough to be like, they call me a fucking loser, I better get back in and play more of the game and kick their ass. And
maybe you better have, right?
Maybe buy some microtransactions. Maybe at the bottom of the, after the message, they get the message that says, hey, fuck you, you suck at the game. We also coincidentally send them a message, ourselves that's like, hey, special limited time offer, buy this thing that'll make you better than them.
How about we say that it's part of our anti-bullying campaign that we have because we're responsible, right?
Oh, I see.
So we say, I understand that recently you suffered, abuse possibly.
You were bullied.
You were possibly bullied, and we'd like to help out with that.
Yeah, what if we offer you this special
1% discount?
Special
off of,
1% discount.
XP boosters or just better equipment.
Hey, here's a gun that will exactly kill them.
Yeah, here is the them killing gun.
Oh, I think we got this.
You are a fucking genius.
I know. So,
what have you put in your ears?
I put some music in my ears. Shall I rattle through the music?
Tell us the music.
I listened to a track called Ghost of Mariano's by Disco Inc. It's a sort of rock song about... It's sort of about dossing around while you're trying to work out what you want to do with your life. That whole sort of like, hey, there are things I care about, but like they're not really productive, but sometimes you just gotta, find distractions and work out what you're gonna do until you know what you're gonna do with life. Nice little track. I listened to a track called All or Nothing by the Dream Masons. It's a laid-back femme rock track with a slightly gothic feel to a little bit of its sound. About wanting to burn out bright and fast rather than fizzle out slowly. That mentality of I'm going to give 100% or it's not worth doing. So there's a track called A Complete List of Fears, aged 5 to 28, by The Yellow Dress. It's a sort of folk punk track about someone's fears, and then it sort of turns into a love song because the thing they're fearing most is losing someone they love. But really nice track. And then perhaps my favourite one I found this week is a track called Siddhis, Siddhis, by Dog Fashion Disco.
Okay.
How do I describe this genre? It's goth ska.
Okay.
It's gothic ska.
Sure.
It's what sort of ska would you hear in the Addams Family household?
Okay.
It's kind of wild, and I really dig the sound of it.
Amazing.
And And lyrically, it's about someone who achieved enlightenment and then went, I don't really like who I am now that I found this. Can I just push that back down and try it again? I like the process of getting there. I'll push that down. I'll try it over again.
Okay.
But just in this gothic ska style.
Huh.
It sounds fascinating. It's the sound of it more than anything that got me. I can't think of another track that sounds quite like it.
Yeah.
What about you? What have you listened to this week?
We listened to the Battlestar Galactica Season 2 and 3 soundtracks.
Oh, we
while
did.
We were playing.
There are some great tracks on there.
There are some beautiful tracks in there. We also listened to a bunch of disco and a bunch of psytrance, but I could not tell you the names of any of the tracks because somebody else was DJing.
Yeah.
And I am still regularly listening to the mix I put together for the wedding.
Yeah.
Because I really like it.
It'll sometimes come on when I'm doing a swim.
Yeah.
And I'll just do half an hour of swim into the wedding playlist.
Splish.
Yeah.
Wedding splish splash.
Yeah.
Yeah. What have you listened to much else?
That's everything I've listened to.
Well then.
Time for this.
Do you have a favourite piece of media you wish you could keep experiencing again and again for the first time?
Mm-hmm.
Try Amnesish. Our special formula targets very specific parts of the brain and removes your memories of your favourite game, movie, TV show, or whatever, so you're free to enjoy it again with a clean slate. Now available in a budget form, but instead of a pill, it's just a small hammer.
Ow!
Please enjoy Ocarina of Time again.
Oh, what's that? Never heard of it.
It's a good game, you should try it.
Come on down to the Wallington Portal. This mysterious ripping reality is fun for all the family. Throw whatever you want in and it will never be seen again. Come on along this Sunday. We got a 2-hour show in which we're tossing in the entire Tory party, including the shiny red variant Tory, Keir Starmer. Come on down to the Wallington Portal this weekend.
Do you know what I want to see more of?
What do you want to see more of?
Brochure Justice Warriors.
Racial Justice Warriors?
Yeah.
All right, Larry. All right, Barry. How you doing? Oh, a bit sleepy, It's bank holidays really thrown me days off.
Yeah, you just sort of get your circadian rhythm all over the place, don't they?
I appreciate the time off, obviously.
I know that one extra day off really makes a difference, doesn't it?
Yeah. Also, it makes a difference to my ability to know what fucking day it is.
Apparently so.
Yeah, you been up to much?
Oh, went out the weekend, nice and safely,
Nice,
everyone
nice.
vaccinated, did tests and whatnot,
Yeah.
but went out and saw some friends for the first time in a
everyone
while.
all right?
Yeah, everyone's doing well,
Nice,
We had a bit of a wiggle in the garden. It was lovely,
Nice,
but
nice. Open air too,
yeah, exactly, all outside. But it got me thinking about something. It comes up every now and then. Sometimes there's a pressure in social situations, where if someone's not drinking and a lot of people are, you'll sometimes get that sort of that pressure of like, go on, have one, why aren't you having just one. Yeah. And it really bothers me because there are a million reasons someone might not be drinking, and alcohol is a perception inhibiting, altering substance. That is not a thing you should force on someone. Even if they don't have any pre-existing issues, you should not be forcing it on someone.
Exactly. There are people who, just don't like it. People who don't like the idea of getting drunk. People who have, religious differences with regards to alcohol. People who are, recovering alcoholics or who have had a problem with alcohol in the past. That's
people with trauma of alcoholic relatives, for example.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And then that. There's no reason to, especially when they get really aggressive with it. I've seen a few like that. They'll get to a party and they'll almost take it as a personal slight that someone's not having a drink. It's like, Jesus, maybe you've tied your whole personality to drinking or whatever, but let other people be. It's not what does it hurt you. If
Yeah.
anything, there is more alcohol in the world for you to enjoy.
Exactly. Because, like, here's the thing, usually, I'll have a drink sometimes, and,
Yeah.
like this event I was at, absolutely, definitely will. It's fine. I trust and know all the people there. But, sometimes I'll be at something and be like, I don't know and trust everyone here.
Yeah.
And I, normally
I
I
would
might
like to
drink.
keep my wits
But,
about me.
yeah, I'd like to keep my wits about me for my own safety,
Yeah.
be alert, be aware, be able to keep myself safe,
Yeah.
There's so many reasons someone might not, drink, and you should really not be, putting pressure on them to do so if that's not what they want to do,
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, people make their own choices about their own behaviour and bodies.
Exactly.
That's your hug.
I do, mate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good hug, mate. Good hug. Good.
Okay, I'll have a nap.
Yeah, go for that, mate.
Yeah.
Right, we'll sleep well, mate.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah.
So, Laura,
Yes.
where can we find you on the internet?
Laura K. Buzz on the internet.
On the
Twitter,
internet.
Twitch, YouTube, Patreon, that's the one that pays the bills. TikTok. A Twitch stream Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 10 p.m. UK, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific. New episodes of Accessibility go up on YouTube every Friday. I've got books. Uncomfortable Labels is out now. Things I Learned from Maria's Butt is out now. Gender Euphoria is out now. I also have podcasts. Pixel Squirt, it's about video game character pornography. Podquisition, we tell you whether your favourite video games are great or perfect. Dice Funk, it's a Dungeons and Dragons podcast. Each season's its own story. I'm on seasons 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. I'm also on a podcast with you that isn't this
With
one.
me?
Yeah.
My goodness, well that sounds like it'll be Polyarmory, a D&D 5th edition real play podcast with questionable morals that I really need to do an edit on, but we are very, 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 very busy at the moment. We are so busy. Can't tell you why yet. Wink.
I mean, it won't be long before we can tell people.
Yeah, you'll find out soon, I
It's
hope.
fast
It
approaching.
is fast approaching. Yeah, like a train.
Ah! Quick, hop on that train. It's heading right to the announcement of the thing.
Choo choo. Good thing. Don't worry, I am still working on it. That's on my SoundCloud. We've also got a SoundCloud for my music. That's Bedroom under the name Bedroom Programmer. We've got a Facebook group, a Redbubble shop where you can get Queer and Pleasant Strangers t-shirts. StirMonkeyRadio.blog where I write about mostly board games, occasionally video games. Got a YouTube, a Twitter. I'm on Twitch on Thursday nights at around 19:30 UK time. I've got a Patreon. For as little as $1 a month, you can help me justify a 76-hour work week. Please. If that's too much commitment, I've also got a paypal.me/Jane Magnet. I've even got a coffee now. I've got a coffee link. It's Janiac, Janeiac. I'm also on streamerlinks.com/Janiac, Janeiac. You can find all of my links there. All in one happy little place. I only have to tell you one thing, because I couldn't do unified branding.
Didn't work.
It didn't work. All of the things were already taken, or I had already committed to many different things over the years. Boo. And furthermore, hiss.
Hiss.
Laura,
Yeah.
will you sing us out, please, darling?
Until next time, be a stranger.